All right, let's start a trucking company. Daniel here from the Truck Insurance channel, and today, this video, I'm talking about everything you need to do prior to actually applying for your motor carrier authority, getting your MC, DOT, all that. All right, the first thing you should really consider is insurance. How much is that going to cost, and is it even worth it to attempt to do all this? So all of these links I'm going to talk about, each thing you should consider prior to doing your authority application. There'll be a link associated to those. The first thing is insurance quotes. You don't have to have a business name, you don't have to have EIN, you don't have to have a VIN number for your truck, any of that. We can get you a really accurate quote based on what you want to do, not what you're ready to do like already. First things first, let's talk business structure. Sometimes people will do a sole proprietorship, and I'm not an attorney or an accountant, so don't take this as legal or financial advice, but just get an LLC. You can file a simple LLC if there's some reason you think you need to do an actual corporation. Maybe you need to talk to an attorney or an accountant about that. But most everyone's going to do an LLC. If you're doing a partnership, you're going to have multiple members of your LLC, then you probably do want to talk to an accountant, maybe get some legal advice on that. But otherwise, if it's just yourself running your company, no other members, partners, anything like that, then a regular LLC is super simple to file. We've got a link below to InkFile, and it's one of the cheapest, easiest ways. And the main thing to do is just follow their steps. That way you don't mess up anything. The next thing I want to mention is addresses. This is super important for insurance purposes and a lot of other reasons like banking, credit, all this other stuff. There's 4 potential addresses you got to consider. Your personal address, which is on your driver's license, and if that's not up to date, then you need to get it up to date. Your business address, like your business physical address, your business mailing address, which could be different, all right? And then your garaging address, which is where you park the truck if you're not on the road. So these 4 can really make a difference. And one of the most important things is keeping these all in the same state. You don't want any of them to be in different states, all right? That's an issue. It's not impossible, but it's an issue. You might get advice from somebody to like incorporate your business in some other state, because you can get better insurance rates or something. Like talk to us before you try and do any of that. You don't want to waste any money or time. There's some scenarios where it makes sense. Most of the time it doesn't make sense, and you need to make sure they all match, because otherwise you're just limiting your options immediately for what you can get for insurance, and then you're really complicating things down the road. So if you're questioning it, you're not sure, you really might want to do something like that, you need some help with that, there's a link to schedule calls and consult with us. It's completely free, so click on one of those and just schedule a time that works for you. The next thing is your business name. When you go to file for your business, keep it simple. Don't use symbols. Don't use a bunch of periods between things. Just make it really easy. You got to say this over the phone over and over and over again to brokers. You're going to be on the road, so you're going to be on the phone all the time doing business, right? And even if you're not, you're still going to be on the phone in an office if you've got drivers. You want your name to be easily enunciated, easily heard on the other end. Like, don't make it complicated. The next thing you got to consider is just the phone number and email that you're going to use on this. You are going to get blown up. There's going to be tons of phone calls, voicemails, text messages, physical mail. You're going to get tons of advertisements, all this stuff. You need to ignore pretty much all of it, all right? There's not really anything of value in any of that. You will get a few letters in the mail from the FMCSA, and one will be about your new entrant audit. You need to start preparing that from the very beginning. It's really simple. I've got another video talking about that, so I'll have that linked below as well, just to get through your new entrant audit. It's actually pretty easy. A lot of people get scared about it. As long as you're prepared, you got nothing to worry about, because it's really relaxed, actually. It's not like a regular audit you'll get from the FMCSA later on down the road. So you'll get the one letter about the new entrant audit. You'll get another letter with a list of 3 things you got to do before your authority can go active. And then that's pretty much it. You won't hear anything else from the FMCSA. They will not call you. You will get phone calls of people pretending to sound like they're from the FMCSA. Be really careful to ignore those. Don't take those calls, all right? Just ignore them. Your phone number, you might want to set up a different phone number. You can do that. Just make sure you have the voicemail set up and you can kind of monitor that. Also, something to consider, if you haven't been driving already, make sure you have a good phone provider, like cell phone provider. You don't want to be stuck somewhere and not be able to make a call. Verizon, AT&T, those are the top 2. I would pick one. I wouldn't go with T-Maybe or T-Mobile. Now, email. You could set up just a regular old Gmail, Mikestrucking@gmail.com, that's fine. But if you want to look a little more professional, this is something that brokers might judge you on, is just your professional like overview. Set up a professional email with Google Workspace. It's super simple, it's really cheap, and then you have your own domain email. So it could be mike@mikestrucking.com instead of mikestrucking@gmail, right? So that's just something you might want to consider. Let's talk about bank accounts. You need a commercial bank account. I recommend Novo Bank or one of the big ones like Bank of America. I've got a link below for Novo Bank. There's some incentives there, and they're really simple. They've actually deal with a lot of trucking companies, so they're familiar with like your industry. That's one thing that's really cool, and you're going to want to be able to get paid and pay people easily. You want a bank that's got a really good digital process or system, right? Novo Bank, Bank of America, those are easy. The next thing you got to do is file your EIN and DNB. You don't have to do DNB, but you do have to do EIN. One thing I think that a lot of people mess up sometimes is you've already got an LLC established and you want to use that instead of paying for a whole nother one to do trucking. If you already have the LLC and an EIN, but the EIN is for some other type of business, go ahead and apply for a new EIN so that you can set it to transportation NAICS code, like a category of business, right? You need one specifically for trucking. So if you've already got all that and you're going to reuse it, go ahead if you really want to, if it makes sense. I wouldn't put like, something barbershop or something retail, or, if it's completely unrelated, just file a new LLC. Either way, make sure you have a brand new EIN that's set up for trucking or transportation at least. A DNB. You don't have to have a DNB number. You're going to be asked for one. It's optional on the FMCSA application, but I would go ahead and get it. It's completely free, and that's something you can set up, start building your business credit, right? Be careful though, when you go on the DNB website, I've got it linked below. If you want to set up credit monitoring for your business, you can. The website kind of suggests it, but again, it's something totally free to get. You don't have to pay for it. Another thing, as far as finance goes, you're going to need to set up QuickBooks. Everybody does QuickBooks. You'll also want to find either an accountant or a bookkeeper. We've got some recommendations if you want to reach out to us for that. But you might want to just find someone local that you could actually go see in person. So that's somebody you might need to look for. The link below for QuickBooks gets you 50% off for the first 3 months. So go ahead and get that set up and start getting familiar with it if you haven't ever used it before. And then if you still haven't gotten an insurance quote at this point, you've got the business name, your registered business, EIN, all that good stuff. Just check out the link below and start filling out the quote form. We'll get you the cheapest, most accurate options we can. Again, you don't even have to have a vehicle yet. We've got a laundry list of vehicles, every different type, make, model, all that, years. We've got a ton. So you can just tell us kind of like what your idea is of vehicle that you're going to be using, and we can get you a super accurate quote. The next thing I want to mention is how to prepare for your motor vehicle report, right? This is huge when it comes to insurance rates. If you've got anything on your record, then it's super important you try and get some of that off if you can. ATLA, American Truckers Legal Association, is somebody that I recommend for this. In case you get any moving violations, you're in an accident, fail a DOT inspection, they help with all that. But they'll also look at the past, right? So if you've got a speeding ticket from 2-3 years ago, that could really impact your insurance. And so you might have gotten a speeding ticket in the past, and on your personal insurance, your rate went up $50, $100 a month. It's not that big a deal. But in trucking and commercial insurance, it could be thousands of dollars more for a ticket you got 6 months ago, right? You might have thought, oh well, I'll just pay the fine. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to try and get rid of it. You can't always do that, but you should always try. And ATLA will help you with previous tickets too, so check them out, link below. Making sure you've got decent credit, making sure your MVR is clean or as close to clean as you can get prior to doing all of this. Those are the two biggest things for your insurance quotes. So all of that for preparation prior to applying to the FMCSA application. We've got more videos, so check those out about the whole process. And we'll be posting more. If you've got questions, comments, put those down below. We'd love to respond to those. You can also email us, call us anytime, schedule a call if it's more convenient. We're here to help, and stay safe out there.